And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Valley of the Judged. I am your one and only gaming monk, better known as Mildra, and with me are two of my good brothers here in the temple. We have our three-eyed master of dad jokes, good brother Joe.
Hello.
And our resident sky pirate, good brother Sizer.
Ahoy and avast, me hearties! I'm here ready to embody the concepts of buccaneer, rum, and scurvy.
Not necessarily in that order.
Mm-hmm.
So, last week we delved into the foundation as well as character creation setup for Parselings, and I will note as a bit of an aside, I really enjoy the look of the character sheet. We did skip a little bit ahead just to answer a question we had early on regarding the deck building part of this deck building TTRPG.
Asked and answered.
Mm-hmm. And that's a question I will be revisiting for this. But for this particular episode, and hello there, Bram. Hope you're doing good tonight. We are going to be tackling the choice system, which is the primary mechanic set for Parselings. How it uses individual card decks, and everything in between. And there's like any questions I can help answer. There'll probably be some, and we'll definitely be getting into those. I already talked about how I enjoy the fact that we have a card-based approach here, and it is purely a card-based approach on the player side. It's not even in the first chapter, the only time we saw any dice rolling setup was for certain tables, which were more of a if you need a bit of a push for some of the mechanics, especially the narrative ones. Which is fine by me because I'm not a big fan of when games just assume a degree of foreknowledge or the swim damn it problem. This is why I didn't get on the hype train when it came to Fate. I'm pretty sure I brought that up with you last week.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
It's also the reason why I was probably one of Candela Obscura's biggest haters.
Fair enough.
Which did get me a bit of gaslighting because I was harsh on the fact that they don't stat the monster or the monsters when the whole premise is investigating the things that go bump in the night.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I know, don't show the monster and all that, but you gotta throw the GM a bone too.
Yeah, it's fun to have your toys to play with or your monsters to, you know, pick up and hurl at the players.
That, and I can't remember who said this, but when it came to writing, they had said, you have to understand the rules before you can break them.
Mm-hmm.
And just assume, oh, the table's savvy enough to figure that out. You could have a bunch of rookies, or you could have a bunch of veterans, or something in between. You don't know. Am I saying you gotta make the game for exclusively for newbies? No. Just you have no idea the gaming background of whoever's playing. But getting back to Parselings, we'll be getting to the choice system, and then a little bit later on, we're going to be jumping into the equipment appendix. Mostly because with the appendixes, I wanted to cover them, but just covering them section by section like we usually do didn't quite work out.
No, yeah, this feels like one where it's best to jump around in the book a little bit. Like with our question about why not just use all high value cards in your deck building.
Yep. But and give it a second to load up. So the first part is image. Now we did cover image. Image is the combination of your four primary aspects, and this is how you build your deck.
Mm-hmm.
It is essentially the image that you present to the world. For every point in image, your character's deck goes up by one card. It can be any card in the standard playing card deck. That being said, as Sizer hinted at earlier, going with the high value cards is not necessarily the best idea.
There may be times when it's worthwhile, it seems like, but it doesn't seem like you want to stack your deck with them.
Mm-hmm. In the previous chapter, there was a whole sidebar about whether or not you want to be more specific with your setup or be more broad. If you're specific, you're going to be really good at some tasks and not so good at several others.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And because of that, you'll be able to handle higher difficulty tasks easily if you focus, especially since you will very quickly run out of cards in the deck, and unless you spend a resource, it does take a full action to reshuffle the discard. It's not something that's automatic. But the four aspects of image are push, intent, conduct, and feats. Each of these has an associated suit. You know, push has diamonds, intent has spades, conduct has hearts, feats has clubs. I don't know why that stopped me for a moment. And each has two aspects that is where the real dots go into. For push, it is potential and perseverance. For intent, it is intelligence and insight. For conduct, it is charm and cunning. And for feats, it is force and finesse.
Okay. I kind of like how they have a little like subtitle to help you determine what these are. Like, I wouldn't have thought push meant like determination or willpower
Mhm.
just on the face of it.
Yep. In addition, each kind of cascades into other attributes. Some of this we covered. Some of this we covered last week, but you know, the push image is vital when it comes to coherency, which is. Would you? I think we compared coherency to on some level to the humanity stat in Vampire.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you run out, like that's like a potential, essentially a character death. Like you lose your character at that point because they're no longer playable.
Mhm.
Yep. Um, Potential can also determine initiative and carry limit, and perseverance also can have a hand in carry limit as well as defense. Uh, Potential and perseverance are the only ones that aren't stats in the usual sense. They are resources.
Hmm.
But intent is tied to intelligence and insight. It also ties to emission. For instance, we were very inspired by the World of Darkness stats and the sanity stats. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But and when it comes to things like emission, that is going to tie into parses. So it's not something we'll be getting to this week, but we will soon. But insight is also used as part of initiative and defense, and used frequently for perception checks. Conduct is the social feat, so if you're playing the diplomancer in the party, this is what you're going with.
Mm-hmm.
It also ties into enchantment, and has two aspects: charm and cunning. Cunning can be tied to defense and initiative, and of course, feats is tied to embodiment when it comes to parses, and the force and finesse aspects. Force can be tied to health, speed, and carry limit, and finesse can be tied to speed and defense. Each of these aspects are a rating of 1 to 5. And you're going to have a certain amount to spend. We covered that last week. And in addition to that, you have aptitudes. Aptitudes are, I guess you could say they're the equivalent to skills in other games.
Mm-hmm.
They are divided into 3 categories: intent, feats, and conduct. Basically, which image stat that they apply to. And it is still on a 5-point scale. 1 point, you've got a little bit about how to do it, and of course 5 points, you are the absolute king at it. If
I
you
don't recall if it was possible to get more than like 3 in a skill to start with, or it's not a skill, but an aptitude to start with.
No.
No. Okay.
And just so I am not talking out of my ass, let me double check in a different tab. So let's see. Character creation, it was a case of 3 in primary, 2 in for image. It was 3 in primary, 2 in secondary, 1 in the last 2. So you should have, and of course 1 point in each at the start, because having with aptitude, it was a 7-5-3 rule.
Okay.
And I have to correct myself. You couldn't have more than 4 points in any one aptitude.
Okay.
Oh.
So you could be like a really good lawyer with high memory.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you got a lot of an aptitude, but then you don't have much to spend in the other 6 aptitudes.
Yep. And each category has 6 aptitudes that can be picked from. I do like that once again they give a bit of an example of what each aptitude can take the form of. So for intent, we have crafting, medic, memory, perception, research, and technology. I think a lot of them are self-explanatory. I do appreciate that we don't have a bunch of subcategories of each. I've talked in the past about my issues with skill bloat in some games.
Oh yeah.
But for feats, the aptitudes are athletics, larceny, melee, ranged, ride, and stealth. I think World of Darkness veterans, some of those names will be very familiar.
Oh yeah, larceny. Like I absolutely pin that right onto like all the World of Darkness versions I played.
Mm-hmm.
It's their version of thievery.
Yep. For conduct, the aptitudes are acting, animals, empathy, etiquette, manipulation, and rumors. I think in the more World of Darkness books, animals would be, well, animal Ken.
Yep. Animals just sounds a little nicer. It's like it doesn't have some weird word on the end that I'm not quite sure I know what it means.
Mm-hmm. Of course, then we have the card piles. So wounds, health damage, the deck, the discard, and any cards that are just straight up removed from play. And well, I do enjoy the setup. This also means that running this on a virtual tabletop is going to be tricky. I'd have to double check if anyone's done Parselings on Roll20 or Foundry. Tabletop Sim, I could see that handle it. The others a little bit less so.
Yeah, definitely does not seem easy to do in a BTT. Yeah.
Yep. So obviously the deck is the number of cards you've chosen up to your image. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps says it functions on Roll20. It's not ideal. I've never played it on Foundry. Yeah, there are ways to do cards in Roll20, but it's not the most elegant.
Do like the I'm with you that the character sheet has like the cool tabs for the different cards on the sides of it and on the top. It feels like it was meant to be played in person. So yeah.
Yep. So obviously the deck is the cards that you built through Image. Discard is, well, cards that were used after a check. Removed cards is the whole remove from play effect that you've seen in just about any card game in the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Even maybe more. And wounds are cards set aside for when you take damage. if you'd if the combined cards in your deck or discard is 4 or less, shuffle, discard, remove cards and moves together into one deck. This then place a random card in the health damage pile. If this equals your health, you'd either die or undergo incoherency, which is another form of character death.
Mm.
This is your too much paradox. This is your succumbing to the beast.
Yeah, where you just become. It seems like you become overcome by a particular concept or concepts, and just become like completely obsessed with that one concept, not able to think or function in any meaningful way.
Mm-hmm. And of course, derived statistics. Obviously, first one is health, which is force plus perseverance. This is the cap for the health damage pile. Push, which as mentioned is one of the resources. Or one of the suits, I should say, which is the divine potential and perseverance. With potential, you can spend 1 point of that to choose and remove a card of any suit that's been revealed during a check. Change that card's suit to one of your choice. Only 1 potential per check. Perseverance is basically you can spend a point of perseverance to reshuffle your discard back into your deck to continue a check. Normally doing that is either a recompose action or taking 2 wounds. And I do have to correct myself when it comes to the deck building. When you're building your deck, you can't take face cards. Those are used for something else.
Yeah, just ace through 10.
Mm-hmm. And aces are low.
Wait, wasn't there like some kind of rule where they could be high too? Am I making that up? Scrolling back here to see if I. Okay, well, please continue. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Oh yeah. So, and we have defense, which is basically image divided by 2, which does mean no matter which image you develop, which part of image you develop, you are improving defense in some way. I appreciate that there isn't one stat that is the overall defense stat. Because it's not, from what I'm seeing here, there's not really the god stat problem.
No dexterity to rule them all.
No. And obviously initiative is self-explanatory. Speed is how far you can move in meters. If you're using a grid, they recommend 2 meters is 1 square. Which, yeah, I'd say that's close enough.
Okay, and I returned from my side quest.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was wrong. I think I may have been remembering something from Moto Bushido.
Probably.
Instead, yeah.
Because Moto Bushido did have its own setup when it came to aces.
Yeah.
Obviously, character carry limit is, well, how much you can carry. And speaking of base cards, that's where the next part comes in. the challenging aspects of your life are represented in the face cards: Jack, King, Queen, and Joker.
Mm.
These cards do not contribute to deck size. And Bram says there is a trick called Ace High, but it functions a little different from the concept of a game of Blackjack might present. I like
Okay.
Blackjack. Quotes are described as a signature move, a special thing you're famous for. These are unique cards to you. At the end of this,
Yes, I have drawn the card for my specialty,
Mhm.
my chili.
God help anybody who goes to one of those full-on chili contests. I've been to one of them, and that was enough for me to never do that again. Because I can handle some spice, but I have my limits.
We have those at work. We have usually like staff and patients who want to make chili can do so as staff. As patients do it as part of their therapy, and I can't say there's ever been anything that would totally blow my socks off there as far as spice. But I think one of the things to remember is that you don't want to eat a full bowl of every single chili type. You just want a little spoonful of each, so you can make your judgment and put in your vote.
Yep. But obviously, the quote is meant to be some sort of one-liner. So think of any one-liner you've seen in a film, and you're not far off.
Yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay.
In checks that echo that quote, you can reveal an additional card from your deck and treat this new card as any suit for the purpose of the check. So that is a very nice move. Of course, it requires the check to be somewhat tied to whatever your quote is. And then there's challenges. Little things that define your lowest moments. Challenges are written on the Joker cards and only available during character creation. This was a optional thing. These cannot be resolved or swapped out like any other cards. While taking a challenge at character creation can grant you an early boost or an additional trick, there will be a single card in your deck that is no use at all. Ideally, any challenge selected will have some sort of impact on the way your character acts in a given situation. But then we have conditions. Essentially these are the equivalent of the debuff equivalents. Each time you gain a condition, write down a small description or phrase on the card as directed by the GM. So kings are described as lifelong problems.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And
well, that's why. Well, what do we do about kings, Joe?
have them
Off
sit
with
under
their
the
head.
sword of Damocles.
That might be, but I think Joe has a specific thing that he has for this. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, no, I was just saying off with their head.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Maybe that could apply more to queens, which are described as cruel twists of fate. And then jacks are cuts and scrapes that life gives you. Now, whenever you have a challenge or condition card in your deck, there's two ways of dealing with it. In the heat of the moment, you can suppress or vent it. And Rev says, I do like sharpening my guillotine.
Don't we all?
I will never not find it funny that the guillotine was invented as a more humane form of
The headsman.
of punishment.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to its predecessors like the Breaking Wheel or the Iron Maiden, it certainly is.
Yeah. But like, wasn't it the problem that the headsman couldn't always get the job done in one blow?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes the axe wasn't sharp enough.
Yeah.
But
You know, Iron Maiden's great, but I prefer the Wild Stallions.
well, the Wild Stallions never suit a game developer for stupid reasons.
No, they just never finished their ideal song.
But
Where's our world peace, Bill and Ted, huh? Anyway, sorry.
now suppressing is ignoring the problem. At the end of a check, you can suppress these conditions by different ways. Jacks are sent to the removed pile, queens and jokers are discarded, kings are reshuffled into your deck.
Okay.
Suppressing means you're putting the condition off for a moment. Alternatively, you can vent it and let the condition get the better of you for a short time.
It's venting!
When venting a face card, you automatically fail the check. Place the offending card into your removed pile. At the end of a scene, you must return these cards back into your deck, as with all removed cards.
Mm.
But it does mean that in that particular scene, you don't have to deal with that card coming back. And
It's like when you're trying to like make a machine work, and you just like take out the wrench and start beating the boiler or something.
percussive maintenance.
Yep.
But then we have scars, which are lingering echoes of the trials you have suffered. They don't ever completely disappear, but you've learned how to work around them.
Yeah, that
when
sounds about right.
Condition is permanently resolved slash removed permanently from your deck, you can cross it out on the card. This is known as a scar, a little reminder of the past troubles in your life and what you've endured and lived to tell about it.
Mm.
But then we get to the real meat of this chapter in Czechs. Not to be confused with Germans or Swedes or Poles.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are 4 different types of checks. There's reflexive ones, which is self-explanatory. With a reflexive check, you immediately reshuffle the cards revealed back into the deck without taking a turn. Simple checks, things that you could do in 3 seconds. You can only do one simple check per turn. Teamwork checks, where you spend your turn drawing 2 cards from your deck. The value limit of the cards you reveal will be equal to your ally's draw. Add any successes you gain to your ally's success pool. So that's your team checking. And extended checks, which take 10 or more minutes to do. These may require more than one attempt. Every point in the appropriate aptitude lets you make another draw. The example they give is a character with Medic 3 can make up to 3 intelligence plus medic checks to treat a single injury. And you also have the option to recompose when you're starting to run low on cards in your deck. If this is downtime or low intensity, you can do this at any time. In a high intensity scene, choose your recompose takes your simple action during your turn. At which point you reshuffle your discard pile back into your deck. Removed cards are not shuffled back. So essentially, it is the reset button in a sense.
Yeah.
Of course, at the end of the scene, cards that were put in the removed pile get put back in. But when it comes to the actual check itself, we have a step process. First is intent, i.e., what are you going to do? Second is modifiers, the GM stating what image and aptitudes you're going to be doing. Essentially, the attribute and skill combo. You may or may not get modifiers for this. This could be additional successes or adjustments to how many cards you draw. You can reduce your draw to a minimum of 2. You'll also hear the success threshold. This is the target number you have to beat. For mundane tests, it's 2 successes. And then the draw. Now, draw is equivalent to the attribute plus the skill, or the image and aptitude in this case. That is how many cards you're revealing from the top of the deck. After which you sort the cards out by suit. Depending on the image you used for the check, that will play a factor in how well the draw does. If you don't have any cards left in your deck, but you want to draw, you have to spend perseverance to reshuffle, basically doing a recompose action. Then we get to counting. Now, only cards in the proper suit will count towards your successes. Aces have a value of 1.
Okay.
When the value of a card is below or equal to the draw, it adds its full value as successes. If it's higher, it only adds 1.
And there's our reason.
This right here is why there's a bit of strategy in terms of what cards you pick when building the image deck.
Yeah, gotta have a few low ones so that you can get to those, easier checks. Because if all you have is, nines and tens, and you have to be like a 3, you have to throw out 3 cards to get where you're going. Whereas, yeah.
Now, in step 5, there are some potential changes you can do. One of them is through potential. You can do this once per check if you have drawn a diamond. You select any card, treat that card as if it were a suit of your choosing for the remainder of that check. At the end of the check, place it in the removed pile. On the other hand, you can do a compromise. You can shuffle in a new condition or joker card into your deck and gain additional successes based on which you did. Jokers give you 5, kings give you 3, queens give you 2, jacks give you 1. This can be done a number of times per scene equal to potential plus perseverance, and once per check. And just remember that anytime you're putting a court card in your deck, that is adding in a challenge.
Hey, still though, I mean that's a you put that joker in, yeah, can get you what you need right away there.
Right away, but there is a price.
Yeah. I might have to deal with my unresolved issues once again.
Not the unresolved issues.
The unresolved issues.
After that is calculating whether or not you succeeded. If the successes you got from draw is greater than the threshold, you succeed. If all cards you drew were the same suit, it's a critical success. If three or more cards were of an incorrect suit, it is considered a grave failure.
Oof.
And after that, this is also why face cards are going to be a problem, because if you draw a face card while doing checks, it doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm. And makes you think dark thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. But then, of course, we do have scenes which we were talking about before: low intensity scenes, high intensity scenes, and downtime.
Mhm.
And some of the things that can be done in those scenes, like with traveling, it's self-explanatory, going from point A to point B. When traveling, you can remove jack conditions or other conditions if the GM allows it from the deck. With information, that is a check that can be done. For every 2 or 3 successes, you can ask one question of the GM. The answers provided may differ depending on aptitude used. I do like that when it comes to info gathering, there isn't just one aptitude that is the definitive one for that kind of task.
Mm. True, we don't just have like a streetwise or socialized stat.
Mm-hmm. Because there's many ways to get info. You could case a joint, you could ask around and check the rumor mill, or you could do enhanced interrogation.
You could take
Yeah.
your friends on bikes and go to the library.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, I don't mean anything that bad by enhanced interrogation. Just playing Baby Shark on loop until they talk.
Doot 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 doot.
Talk about cruel and unusual.
Well, I mentioned this in the past, but at one prison, I think in Oregon, it was considered cruel and unusual because they were playing it for hours.
Yeah, I mean it is.
Where was that called again? Guantanamo Bay or something like that, where they did that?
Abu Ghraib. They did that at Abu Ghraib too.
Mm-mm. But
Yeah.
Only reason why I know about that is because of Small Soldiers.
Uh-huh.
I had the PS1 game for that. It was, as far as movie games, it wasn't that bad.
I feel like there is a sequel coming out. I thought I heard that.
The heck?
Yeah. Oh wait, that's the AI overview though. So, oh wait, no, it said not currently confirmed. Never mind. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
I remember that being teased a few years ago, and then nothing came of it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's kind of a fun, campy movie, and it's like an early appearance for Kirsten Dunst, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that it had such a huge following that a lot of people are even going to remember it.
I feel like the tease was to try and ask and answer the question, would people want it? And I guess not enough people bit.
Yep.
But another downtime option is crafting, which I have made it no bones about the fact that a lot of crafting systems in both video games and TTRPGs I do not care for. Largely because of specificity of materials, or in some cases just going ridiculously overcomplicated. High magic item creation back in 3.5.
I remember those days.
What with the whole
Don't you want to use your XP for making magic items?
which is never explained why you have to lose XP to make magic items.
No, it really isn't.
But crafting can be done with either crafts or technology, as far as the suggested aptitudes. So once you've gotten the ingredients, you're making either finesse plus crafts or intelligence plus crafts. The quality of the gear is dependent on the number of successes over a set of extended checks. And, of course, the maximum number of checks you can do is limited by your level in craft. And, yeah, it goes up pretty fast. I mean, for makeshift items, it needs a 14. Then, for standard, 28. For high quality, 56. For supernatural, 112. For unnatural, 224, and for mythic, 448.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, just a small number.
Yeah. I feel like this is a very subtle way of saying, you better not try to do high tier items on your own, you idiot.
Yep. Or else, if you're going to, it's going to take you an entire campaign.
Mm-hmm. Also,
Mythic is like,
yeah, you're gonna have
the
to pray
chopper you've always wanted, you know.
You have to pray to RNGesus, and as we've mentioned before, RNGesus does not save.
Nope.
But obviously, another option is recovery. This can be done through different ways. A meal will let you recover 1 point of potential and perseverance, up to 3 meals a day. Sleep will let you recover 1 syllable once per day. We'll get to syllables when we get to parses. Natural healing lets you remove one card from wounds every 2 days, or 1 card from health damage for every 7 days if there's no cards in the wounds pile. Of course, you could take medical treatment, where which is a intelligence plus medic check. You recover 1 card per wounds per 2 successes to a maximum equal to the draw of the check. Or 1 card per health damage per 10 successes. You can only do this once per day. I do like that medic and similar healing checks are more than just stabilize dying ally.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to where fists, bullets, and blades have to start flying with combat.
Mm-hmm.
So they're operating on a 3-second rule when it comes to turns, which usually I expect 6 seconds, so interesting. Obviously, during combat, you can't do extended actions. Because, well, there's not enough time to do it. Since combat is considered a high-intensity scene. For determining turn order, you draw 1 card from your deck, add your initiative, and that's your initiative score. Obviously, we're going high initiative priority.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm. You can form a group with a friendly within your character's speed for initiative and join up with them to be 1 initiative slot, essentially. Which that is something you might want to do if you're trying to be a little more coordinated. But combat, we have first off the attack side of things. A melee attack is force plus melee. The suit you're going to be looking for is clubs. it is contested by all three are contested by defense. Ranged attacks are finesse plus ranged, and vehicular attacks are force plus ride. I wonder if you could also use that to do the greatest martial strike, attacking something with a building.
Mm. You made me
Obviously,
think about it for a moment.
I mean, it worked on the Wicked Witch of the East.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Damn.
But
Her
was
poor sister.
and I guess that I guess that Dorothy was riding. She wasn't really driving, but she was riding.
Yes.
So does that mean she would be she would be considered a writer according to the Fate series?
I am not. I am not going down that rabbit hole. I already did that once when I was playing in a Fate campaign and I had Paul Bunyan as a rider class servant.
Uh-huh.
I have considered commissioning art for that concept of Paul Bunyan as a servant.
What how about Babe the Blue Ox?
Noble Phantasm.
Well, yeah, that would be their
Okay.
noble phantasm.
Yeah.
But the defense side of things defense is only rolled if it. I say rolled only drawn if it's a dodge. Like standard defense, it's just the difficulty you're looking at. When attacked, you can apply your defense as a negative success modifier, which explains how you'd use it when you're getting hit as opposed to when you're hitting. Dodge is a simple action that is using basically image divided by 2. You're looking for clubs. If you do it, you cannot do another simple action this turn. Your defenses that successes that you get from dodge, you add to your defense until your next turn. If you're sharing initiative with an ally, you can also use your dodge action to bolster one person's defense until your next turn. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
A bit more team play when it comes to dodge. Also can do defensive driving, which is finesse plus ride as far as the check. You're looking for clubs. It is contested by attacks. And the car's armor can be bonus successes. But after attack and defense is factored in, blows have been traded. For each remaining success in the attacker's success pool, the defender sends cards from the top of their deck into the wounds pile. If there aren't enough cards in the player's deck, recompose their deck and send the top cards into the wounds pile. Unless they spend a point of perseverance, they lose their next simple action. Ow. If the total of the deck and discard is less than 4, you take health damage. You shuffle your wounds, discard, removed, and deck together, and send the top card to the health damage pile. When health damage exceeds the health of the character, you either die or go incoherent. And that's each remaining success. So if you do really well with that club suit, that's going to be pretty nasty.
Definitely. But if some kind of parasite monster or incoherent gets to you first, and it's I don't know. This feels like it could take a bad turn for you pretty quickly too.
Well, the storyteller system has had its infamy for how lethal it could get, especially when aggravated damage comes into play.
Uh-huh.
Now, it doesn't look like we have the equivalent of aggravated damage yet, but
Yes, being the operative word here.
it's very clear that a few good hits could put you in the dirt.
Yep.
But then we do have a bit on equipment. The weight is used for the carry statistic, although it says this property is only needed if the GM is enforcing the carry statistics. So that does put in the option that you don't have to invoke encumbrance if you don't want to in your campaign, which I'm fine with, since I'm not keen on measuring every unit of 10-foot poles.
Yeah. 100% agree. Never, except in maybe in a survival-based system, I think the necessity of an encumbrance mechanic is limited, and is like the rule of uncool, really, when it comes down to like having fun.
But then when it comes to some items are consumables and some have the concealment trait. These ones, if you want to avoid them being detected, that is a stealth check. And there are 5 equipment levels, each with a bonus to the amount of successes you get when you use them for a check. Standard is 1, high quality is 2, superior is 3, unnatural is 4, and mythic is 5. Obviously, mundane equipment doesn't give you any bonus. But when it comes to vehicles, they have their own properties, or their own stats. Speed is same as speed with characters. Integrity is how much of a beating the vehicle can take. So, a Helix would probably have a high integrity stat, because, dear lord, those old Helixes can take a beating and keep going. They have been called the unkillable truck for a reason. And look, if Top Gear couldn't kill it, what chance do any of us have?
Oh, dear lord.
Wasn't from lack of trying. But when you drop the thing from a building and it still works...
Oh,
I mean, you're not wrong.
Or set the thing on fire and it still works. But armor is the ability to resist hits. This is automatically applied to combat checks. And when you're driving, you apply armor to protect the vehicle. And capacity is how many humans it is capable of legally carrying. It's interesting wording there. That does imply that there are illegal amounts of carrying.
I mean,
have you ever done the
don't have
clown
a-
car thing with your friend's car back in like high school or college?
Yes.
also, you might need the license to carry. Just saying.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm not talking about guns. I'm talking about the license system. Fucking
I already
license board.
covered that 2 weeks ago. But there are 3 additional properties. Cargo means it is meant to carry goods and bulkier things. Off-road, self-explanatory. And training required, meaning in order to properly operate it, you would need the training trick. We haven't covered it yet. We'll be getting into it later in the series, but tricks are not far removed from from small feats or knacks. When it comes to weapons, obviously the first thing that's determined is whether or not it is melee or ranged. Some ranged weapons will have the automatic tag as well. This means that you can do them in burst or full auto, or if you played fuller auto. But if you do the burst version, I think that's supposed to be like 3-round burst or the like.
Yep.
You spend 3 ammo and increase your draw by 1. If you do full auto,
partner.
yeah, if you do full auto, you spend 14 ammo and increase the draw by 2. And of course, range, how far you can shoot. Although this is part of the thing I do like when it comes to melee. Give or take, this distance is within your character's speed. You are actively moving to hit your target directly or swinging your weapon of choice against them.
Mm-hmm.
So this does mean you don't have to be so close that you need to that you could look at the enemy's pores in order to use it in melee. You've got at least some distance. Then there's short, medium, and long. Short is 1 meter to 7 meters. Medium 7 to 21 meters, and long 21 to 100 meters. And then extreme 100 meters to 800 meters. I think with extreme range, that is where we're entering the category of dear grid coordinates. Some
Getting
weapons
into space laser territory there.
Some weapons may have indirect, meaning they can be fired within reason without direct line of sight. They use the example of throwing grenades over walls or mortars. Or, again, space laser. Or, javelin with a stick of dynamite on it. And below their crests. There's plenty of ways to do the indirect approach. And I'm suddenly reminded of in Company of Heroes 2 early on, where someone had the brilliant idea to not have mortars have scatter. This went about as well as you would think. But then we have ammo capacity, which can be single, so any single shot weapon, bows, crossbows, thrown weapons. God help you if you try to draw one of those English longbows. Small it has 7 shots or 1 burst. Things like pistols, revolvers, and BB guns. Medium would be assault rifles and submachine guns, which have 28 shots or 4 bursts or 2 full autos, or any combination thereof. Large, it is full-on machine guns, so LMGs and larger variations of firearms. 56 shots, 8 bursts, or 4 full autos. And then there's belt, which this is where we remind everyone left-hand feed.
Yeah, so this is going to be what you put on the back of you mount on the back of whatever thing you're driving around.
Mm-hmm. And ammo belt would be 112 shots, 16 bursts, or 8 full autos. then a bit of a short story, which I've so that covers the core mechanics. And before we get into equipment, which will be a bit more skimmy than other aspects, what do you guys think of the way the choice system works?
Hmm.
Yeah,
I'm still
Ted,
wrapping my head around it.
yeah. I mean that is how I was absolutely feeling the first session of this. I'm like, okay, I think I'm fitting it in. I think I'm managing it. This just thinking about this in terms of card decks is is different when you are used to those, precious math rocks. Um, but I get it. I think it all kind of makes sense. But the let's see, the choice, I'm kind of scanning back over it here as I get my thoughts together. But yeah, it seems like you might want to the first or second time as you're going through it and you're doing your checks just to go through it step by step with the rules, right? It's not a kind of thing where um, you just roll a dice and then it's a simple mechanic that you pick remember the first time after you do it. You have to remember all the different what all the different suits do. You have to be thinking ahead to how you're going to do your draws, and all that kind of stuff. Plus you've got the face cards there, making your life miserable.
Hmm.
you know it's a lot. I don't hate it. I would
Yeah.
I would I still feel, I said this last time too, I feel like I need to see it in action.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, it's a different kind of thing that's not bad at all. Um I just I'm just not feeling it in my soul yet. I'm taking having to take a little time to digest it.
Hmm. For me, oh, before I get into it, Joe, what was your take?
Like I said, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Mhm.
It's uh, reading it through and hearing it is fine, but I'm still trying to figure things out. I love the card system in of itself. It's very intriguing, but I'm still a little confused.
Uh, so I've on a sidebar I loaded up a random card generator to um try and go try and demonstrate this. So let's say there's a draw of 4. Let me see what I end up drawing. And this is for a action that's going to be using spades. Um,
Hmm.
So mental action and intent.
yeah. So I drew a 7 of clubs, an ace of diamonds, a 9 of spades, and a 4 of hearts.
And do we want to set a difficulty? Um,
Yeah, the
yeah.
difficulty would be 2 in this case.
Okay. So you're maybe a little bit boned. What was the spade that you drew?
So 9. So that's only a
9. Okay.
success of so that's only a success of 1.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
I think I'm getting it.
Mm-mm. Oh, this also explains why face cards are going to be such a problem when they're drawn, because they do nothing.
Yep. Make you sad.
Mm-mm.
Make you anxious. But yeah, I guess did you just take a standard 52 card deck and
Yeah,
do a draw from there?
yeah.
Okay. So what I mean, I guess what we'd have is we would if we were playing the game for reals, we would be having a deck composed of not the whole 52, but
Hmm.
whichever cards make up our image, I guess.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
which means that it's not going to be as difficult as it was in this example, since you have some control over what cards are going to be in the deck.
yeah. So I'm curious. Bram says that it's a difficult system to teach, especially just through talking.
Hmm.
Is it would I mean I guess the idea there would be just to do it right, to
Mhm.
make it a tactile experience,
Hmm.
um, rather than as Bram said, just talking about it.
Yep. Oh,
But yeah, I mean not that we have time to do
yeah.
that, but um, that does seem like the best way to learn in this particular situation for this
Hmm.
particular game.
This also explains why the baseline threshold is so low.
Yeah,
Uh, and I'd say and it this would also explain why things like crafting have such a high success threshold early
yeah,
on. And I will admit, when I was going through the successes parts, part of my brain was tempted to call it hits.
hmm,
That might be that might be just out of habit, since a lot of success-based die systems, whether it be Shadowrun or World of Darkness, I always referred to successes as hits.
I don't know.
gotcha.
That name's a little hit or miss.
Ooh, I was thinking that you meant more like I was. I think you thought you were still being blackjack brained.
Uh, the only TTRPG that has me blackjack brained is Fading Suns,
Hmm.
but
You've talked about that with maybe offline with us a little bit, or at least
mhm,
with me. That's the one where you are trying to like go. You were trying to not go over the DC and to get as close to it as possible without going over.
yep,
Yep.
and also not matching it, because matching it is a botch. But when it I think that is also the reason why getting as many modifiers as possible is going to be important,
Hmm.
because a draw of 4 certainly could give you that, but if you've got some equipment that's going to give you an extra card, that's one more chance to get another success. And if you only need at least 2, then the more the better. This also means that at the high end, if somebody's rolling a check where they have 5 in the image and 5 in the aptitude, they're going to be able to get some ridiculous results.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I'm kind of iffy about, and this may be something I would house rule personally, is the fact that anything that isn't in the image suit doesn't contribute when the draw.
Right. The
I
I guess that they're maybe it seems like they're trying to since character creation is done in a group for this game. You can't really do it solo, or at least you're not really supposed to. I think the
Mhm.
idea is that you're specializing your characters into certain things, and the idea is to have the right person for the right job. So maybe you're gonna be building a deck. One person, like the muscle, is gonna be building a deck with a lot of clubs, and the thinker's going to be building a deck with a lot of spades. Just and I know that they had some stuff in there about generalizing versus specializing,
Hmm.
but this tends to be how um, groups of seasoned gamers go about it. They'll try and fill out specific roles.
Pretty much. And I do think I do think this is why there's that temptation to use things like potential or compromise
Mm-hmm.
to bail you out.
Yeah.
Uh, and I can see the cycle when it comes to court cards and how they'd be used or taken out.
Mm.
But there's a lot of movement with this system,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all the more reason why I feel this is a system that I think is going to be better served in IRL play than on virtual tabletops. Because while you can certainly mess around with
Yeah.
cards on Tabletop Simulator, for instance, uh, it is going to be a bit finicky.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
And let me check something. I want to see if anyone made a
You're gonna have to get used. Go ahead.
I want to see if anyone made a module for TTS for Parselings, and it looks like no.
Though they could. At least at the what is that called again? Not in TTS though. It is very easy to do. Foundry,
Mm.
because they do have a card draw system in Foundry.
Yeah. There is one in, like, the card draw thing that is certainly fine, and Roll20 has one as well. It's more of the having the cards on the sheet. That is where the tricky part is
Mhm.
going to come in. And I did check. I didn't see anyone who had put it up on Tabletop Simulator. I'd imagine it wouldn't be too hard to do, and I have seen some folks do campaigns on Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah, I remember seeing a setup for Curse of Strahd
Mhm.
for TTS.
But we will see how that particular element plays out, because the limit thing we'll probably get to that later on in this series.
Hmm.
But let me check how I set it up. So before we wrap up, let's do a brief look at the equipment appendix, which that is going to be on page 168. So let me go with full width. So the first thing we've got is weapons, which pretty self-explanatory for a good chunk of them. We do have explosives, which includes grenades, planted, and launchers. Then we have bows, crossbows, I actually find it easier to manually pull a crossbow than to use that crank. The problem is with the crank, if you don't have it perfectly aligned, you got to do the whole thing all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
let's see, pistols, shotgun, and service rifle, which is I think is meant to cover a broad amount. We have this in things like assault rifles, battle rifles, and uh, modifiers to service rifles, including the possibility of DMRs or designated marksman rifles. Though the definition between assault rifle and battle rifle, it has a lot of arguments. Then sniper rifle, then artillery. So I can have my emotional support cannon.
How big are these incoherents we're fighting anyway?
And then SMG, full-on machine guns, which can be LMGs or HMGs. Though personal defense weapons also being under SMG, what that fits. Whenever I hear PDW, I immediately think of the P90, and it's weird setup with the bullets set up sideways.
Yeah.
Or things like the G11, which, even though I have seen how it works, I have seen it disassembled and reassembled, I still have no idea how it fires. No, the one
bullet at a time.
That weird ass rifle that was made by H&K that's gotten the nickname Kraut Space Magic. Then we do have vehicles. So starting with a bicycle, you can hear Queen in the distance. Motorcycle, passenger car, sports car. Once again, you can hear Queen in the distance. SUV, then vans. Then a bus.
All right.
Now I hear Weird Al in the distance. What the heck?
Yep. Then a pickup truck, a semi-truck, heavy machinery, so tractors, forklifts, steamrollers. I could make the Dio reference, but instead you're getting MST3K. He tried to kill me with a forklift. Huzzah!
See, what was that? That was not Prince of Space. That was... Oh, what was that?
It was the same one that gave us the exposition song.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great episode, though. Oh, jeez, that was like a two-parter as well. They did two different movies from that series.
Fugitive Alien.
Fugitive Alien, yes. Yep, you got it. Which was like a cut together, like TV series, cut together from a Japanese TV series.
Yep. But then we have police cars and armored fighting vehicles, which can be tanks, APCs, infantry fighting vehicles. I am glad that they make that distinction. That always annoys me when people call like the Bradley a APC. It is not. And of course, military trucks with MRAPs. And personal planes. I don't know how you would get a private jet in this kind of game, but there it is if you want it. A fighter, so like a fighter jet.
Yep.
I remember that there was a country that put their entire air force up for sale.
Okay, now you made me curious. Country that sold their air force.
Uh,
Pakistan was selling a bunch of JF-17 Thunder fighter jets to Libya, apparently.
oh, that it wasn't that. I do remember it was the main reason that it was that they were able to have it up for sale like that is because it was a bunch of old MiGs.
Okay. So probably some Soviet bloc country then.
Hmm. Uh, then we have bombers, which does imply that imagine somebody breaking out a fighter bomber like the old Nighthawk.
Yeah. And
Yep.
once again, can I ask how big these things are that we need bombers to take them out?
There's if you're dealing with an incoherent that's shaped like a dragon, you might need something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I will always find it amusing when I I remember when that movie Reign of Fire came out in the mid 2000s, and they were trying to go with this idea that the dragons completely trounced the militaries of the world, and I'm like, that would not happen. Like,
The one thing I remember about that movie was the joke where they were telling stories to the kids and they were just telling them the stories from like Star Wars and then
mhm.
claiming that they made it up.
Oh, who's gonna check them?
I know, right?
But then helicopters, and
Helicopter, helicopter.
speaking of um interesting ideas from bad movies, I really like the Whispercraft in The Sixth Day,
Hmm.
which was trying to be this jet helicopter combo. It was weird as hell, but I kind of liked it.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Then again, I've stated one of my favorite fighter designs was the British Harrier, which didn't help that in the 90s that thing was all over the place media wise. But and there's also boats, motorboats, sailboats, and full-on ships.
So why are we not getting military like naval military hardware here? We're getting the military hardware everywhere else.
I think
Who can say?
uh, I think we kind of have that with ship, and with a lot of the bigger ones, you need the they all have the training required tag.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, but the equipment setup is pretty light, all things considered, when it comes to this appendix here. Uh, but
Yeah. It does seem like they kind of have a lot of this like other equipment already covered just with like the different categories of quality.
mhm.
Mhm.
Which, because of that, things like carrying capacity, I feel like they aren't going to be as important as they might be in a more simulationist game, and this is not trying to be sim heavy.
Mm-mm.
That much is abundantly clear. And because of that, it's definitely something where if you want something a bit more simulation heavy, I don't think Parselings is going to do the job. But it'll get very interesting when we delve into. Oh, next week, that is when we're getting into the parse system as well as tricks. Which,
Yeah.
if I'm making the World of Darkness comparisons, I'd say tricks would be the equivalent of knacks.
Mm.
That's the main vibe that I get.
Fair enough.
And I wonder if we also get things like, you know, maybe like having money is a trick or something. So
I wouldn't be surprised if it's handled somewhat like the resource advantage was in World of Darkness, which isn't tracking individual. I got in a bit of shit about the whole stake and resources thing that I have in Legend Edition. I'm like, how come World of Darkness didn't get that same amount of shit?
It did.
And it probably did because grogs are gonna grog, but still.
Mm.
I prefer more abstract forms of money systems in games rather than having a big number of GP or gil or whatnot.
Yeah.
Having it as a straight up number that can work in a say a video game, but whenever I've done it in tabletop, it ends up creating more problems than I care for. Bram says I never had a good experience with the resource system in World of Darkness.
You know, I don't like fiddly tracking every, you know, gold kind of systems.
Mm-hmm.
And I would really love to have some more a more abstract wealth system in skies. But the fact is, I don't think I'm going to manage it. I think people are going to want to count those gold coins they pulled out of the treasure chest. You know.
Yeah, I have a mix of both with the whole resources and stake setup.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I put my foot down on that was, you know, Legend Edition is setting agnostic.
Mm.
So when you have a set setting, you can better determine what value certain items have.
Mm.
But if there's a bit more agnosticism, it's kind of hard to say how much something should cost. That's why I was kind of iffy about the whole dollar cost thing in, say, Savage Worlds, which is trying to be a universalist system.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a rabbit hole for another night. So, like I said, we will be back here next week where we delve into the parse system. So that should be a interesting experience. And
feels like this is where we get into the more freeform aspects of the system.
Oh yeah. As mentioned before, the quote-unquote magic system in this is one where it is heavily encouraged to do so as a group. We did see a bit of hinting of that group cohesion when it came to the action economy. I think we're going to see more of that next week. And as I mentioned, we'll also be getting into tricks. So please look forward to all of that. But until then, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, my name is Mildra. I am your gaming monk. Stay fucking frosty, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Night.